And with that, we will have Rashima come to the stage and talk about her startup and her journey with Sonson.
So, a little bit about me. I am a business owner, and today I'm going to share just the triumphs and impediments of being a business owner. I've been a business owner for about 8 years now. My brand is called Sonson. We specialize in premium to luxury bow ties, but we're more than just an accessory brand. We provide gifting options. Let's see, in 2014, the business was started because I was looking for a gift for one of my brothers. Now, I am the oldest of seven males, and one of my brothers was looking for a gift. Excuse me, I was looking for a gift for one of my brothers who was expecting his first son. And I couldn't find anything on the internet. I went to various stores in case it wasn't searchable via Google, and I still couldn't find anything. As a big sister, I wanted to provide him something that was memorable, something that he could bond with his son, something that can possibly be a family heirloom. So, with my experience, and a little bit about my experience and my background is that I attended LSU. I graduated with a Bachelor of Science in apparel design. Since graduating, I have worked in the supply chain industry, uh, focusing on textile and apparel. So I've held roles within regulatory compliance, quality assurance, um, VOC, voice of the customer, sourcing, pretty much all of the behind the scenes and upstream processes for that for the supply chain within the apparel industry. So with my experience, I thought, well, since I can't find something, let me use the skills that I have and create a product. The goal wasn't to start the business. The goal was to just provide my brother with a great gift. But once I provided him the gift and he shared it on social media, just to show people what he received for the gifts as being a first time dad, people showed interest in the product. And so from that moment, I started taking orders, and brand purely started as an artisanal brand where I would handcraft everything. Again, because I have that skill and that background. So just to bring it up to speed to today, the brand has been in business for 8 years. We create accessory pieces that are inspired by cultural celebrations. All of our pieces are statement pieces. And the mission for the brand is to build relationships through fashion. Our pillars are family, fashion, and tradition. And the mantra is one son to another. This image that you see in front of you, this is one of my brothers and his son, and they're both wearing a bow tie. They're attending a wedding, which was definitely a memorable moment for them that they will always have in the memory books. Now, the biggest question is that I hear from people are you an entrepreneur or are you a small business owner? Now, both of those two words can be used interchangeably. However, many times small business owners, they have great ideas. You know, they solve problems within their community, they know their target audience, steady growth, lower risk. Entrepreneurs, on the other hand, they have big or grand ideas. They change the world, they change the way how people uh, operate, they change the way how people look into services. For example, Mega, what you just presented, that's a great idea on, or a big idea on what entrepreneurs can do to change the way that people see the medical industry and provide services that people need. But again, both terms can be used interchangeably. Now, running a business, being a small business owner or entrepreneur, there's not, you won't have a day that goes perfect all the time. You will have days where things may be difficult, but then there are days where you're just like, oh my goodness, I am killing it. I'm doing amazing. The triumphs of being a business owner that I found is that self autonomy. You can plan your own schedule, you can be the captain of your own ship, you can build the business the way that you want. I know that many of us have worked for other corporations or businesses where You look at the process and wonder, okay, well, why did they do it this way? If I had the opportunity, I would have created it a particular way. But by you being your own business owner, you have the autonomy to build it the way that you want. Now, the big one, the revenue. We all want billion-dollar brands, billion-dollar businesses. That is the goal, and that's one of the triumphs. There's been times where my business, we set financial goals for the month where the goal is, okay, we cannot have anything less than 20,000 a month in regards to sales. And many times we've achieved those goals. And other times it may be a couple of hundreds and so forth. That is, what you may have to experience as a business owner. One month you're triumphing, the other month you're just like, what happened? The other positive thing is being the competition, being the go-to for customers who are looking for a particular product. That is a big win as a business owner. However, the impediments, there's been times where many business owners share the fact of there's a lack of capital. We may have to bootstrap, borrow, hustle. I have hustled many times at the beginning of my business career where I've lost sleep. I've working so much trying to figure out, okay, I have to make this. I have to reach these goals. It's just a never-ending problem for business owners. It's a lack of capital, resources, and support. And we all know it takes a village. Having a mentor or someone to support with any administrative tasks. A lot of times, there are people who can do it all, but they're honestly 9 times out of 10, you cannot do it all. So you need support, you need resources. Marketing. Every business owner struggles with marketing. There are tools out there that can support scheduling tools, Canva, and so forth. But besides these impediments, you have to think, okay, how can I shift gears? In 2020, just to be frank and honest, right at the height of the pandemic, I actually considered closing my business. Why? Because sales weren't where we needed it to be. We were in a pandemic. People weren't really purchasing accessory products as often because why? We were going to be sheltering in place. So that started to panic for my team. And sad to say, we were going to close the business down. However, I sat down with my team and thought, okay, what can we do? In times of obstacles, you have to look at the opportunities and pivot. Within 2020, we had supplies available, readily available to us. That's a good thing when you are a designer. You can have supplies, fabric, you support from the top of the supply chain. So when the supply chain was at a halt for resources for businesses, we were able to step in and to support. We started to create products that people needed, masks. We reached out to hospitals. We reached out to schools to provide donations. We created products we've never created before. For example, we started doing home decor. That was a huge win for new customers because people were just finally learning more about our business and what we had to offer. Granted, the goal of the business is to provide accessories, especially bow ties, but we shifted gears and provided something else. And we were just going based on the needs of the industry. But there's one thing I must stress as a business owner. There are going to be good times and bad times, but I would like to stress it's important to meditate and exercise. Things are not always going to be perfect, but you have to take time for yourself because if you're not taking care of yourself, your business will suffer. There are a few things to consider, and these are some of the things that I've learned along the way. It's important to have business besties. I have a couple of business besties that I work with on a day-to-day basis, or even we have brunch every so often. We share resources, we provide suggestions, we even provide competitions that are coming up. If one wins, we all win. We're all in together. Another thing are grant documents. In the past 2 years, during the pandemic, and yes, we're still in a pandemic, I've applied to over 15 competitions and have received over $15,000 in services as well as grants, which I'm very grateful for. But the key to winning those grants that I've learned is every time I apply for a grant, I save the questions, and I also save the answers that I provided. So when there's another grant opportunity coming up, I can just easily plug and play the information so that, it takes me 1 or maybe 2 hours to complete it. Whereas in the past, my first competition, it took me about 3 days to complete. So that's a gem that I would like to share, and that has helped me tremendously. Business communities and resources. There are so many of them out there. You just have to pick and choose which are the top 5 or 3, or however you feel will be most beneficial to your company. For me, I've used Meta Elevate resources for Facebook, and they provide other resources for Instagram. Harlem's Fashion Row, if you're a fashion designer, they provide a lot of resources and services to fashion designers throughout the world, whether it may be partnering or partnering with other companies, as well as grants. Another one is NASDAQ Entrepreneurship Circle. They provide additional resources for entrepreneurs and also help them to improve their pitching skills. One of my favorite ones is lean operations. Again, my background is in process improvement, in supply chain, and throughout the times that I've worked in my business and the times that I have gone through obstacles, I always have to take a step back and think about, okay, how can I improve it? What have I learned? We launched several new products during 2020. We decided to create a launch process. That launch process saved us about a month in planning time last year when we launched our Excellence collection. Because of the fact that we had a process in place, we were able to be featured in Forbes. We were able to get, a lot of celebrities to wear our products. For example, one of our products was just at the Oscars this past week. So that was a huge win for us. It was another triumph for us, but you have to have processes in place to ensure that when these opportunities come up, you're ready for it. Another key thing I would like to stress again, having a social media theme and also having a social media scheduler. That has saved us tremendous time. As a business owner, it's all about saving time, resources, gaining more capital, and last but not least, making sure that your customer is happy. And we all know that the future is bright, the future is female. The statistics don't lie. Female entrepreneurs own about 40% of all businesses in the US, and it's steadily growing. The question for everyone on this call is, who's ready to be the next entrepreneur or business owner? So thank you. Any questions?
I have a few. Can you show us some of your products or what they look like?
Let's see. 1 second.
Or the website's cool too. Awesome. And who wore your stuff at the Academy Awards? Tell us about that.
Sorry, I just realized that I was on mute. Um,
Yes.
so the individual that wore our ties is Derek Hodge. He was the music director for the
Mm,
Oscars. Um, so a little bit of background with Derek Hodge is that earlier I spoke about building partnerships. I've known Derek for some time now, and I read an article about him being the music director for the Oscars. And so I reached out and I said, "Hey, what are you wearing for the Oscars?" And he said, "Oh, I'm wearing a black tux." And I said, "Perfect. I have a tie that will go perfectly with what you have." And he said, "Send it." And I sent it. I think we connected on Thursday. I sent it Friday. He had it by Saturday, and he wore it that Sunday.
wonderful. That's fantastic. These are beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And then yeah, I saw that like you went through this whole journey with becoming Six Sigma and all of that. Tell us about like the business part because clearly there's some business background here, that you're relying on. So like how, tell us about that background and like how does it really inform you today with kind of the processes and the different things that you've learned in your corporate life.
Yes, good question. So I worked for the Gap for about 10 plus years. And in that time period, I worked as a merchant as well as the quality manager. And I built out the quality management system for all for all Gap brands globally. And during that time, I'm trying my best to improve the process and learn as I go along. And I came about ASQ, American Society for Quality. And I did some more research, learned about Six Sigma, and it really piqued my interest because in quality, you have to understand um, standards as well as customers' expectations. And so it took me about a year or so to study and as well as pass the exam, which I passed. I'm still very excited about that. And I use what I've learned just to understand the voice of the customer. So the voice of the customer is basically trying to understand what your customers are looking for, like what their driving force to come back to your business, or basically why did they come in the first place. When I first started my business, and at that point I was still studying for Six Sigma, and I would attend a lot of vendor events where I would vend throughout the Bay Area, and I had the opportunity to speak with customers and talk to them about their purchase or better yet, what they're looking for. So I was able to get real-time information from consumers to understand what their needs were. I captured it via in-person conversations. We had QR codes so people could scan, provide their feedback. Also, if people, there are times when phones die. So we had paper surveys,
Yeah.
and so they completed the paper survey in regards to like, what are they looking for? What do they like about their purchase? Price point, who they purchasing it for. So over the course of 8 years, we've collected data in person as well as from our website. We do send out surveys via our newsletter to get more information of their purchase decisions. So over the course of 8 years, we've collected enough data to understand the direction that we're supposed to go for our business. We're still evolving. Every year we do something new that excites our customers, which gives them that aha moment and makes them very excited of what's to come next. So we're constantly learning as we go along. Things are not going to remain constant. I know that consistency is key. It is when it comes to marketing, but when it comes to providing your customers with product and services, they like to be excited with what you have to offer. So that's how I've used Six Sigma in my business.
Yeah, they like to be surprised and delighted. I think
Yes.
that's what people don't always get is the element of surprise. It's
Hmm.
like the reason why you go to a mall, right?
Yeah,
It's because you don't know what's going to happen. You do know what's going to happen to a certain degree, but then there's always something else happening or some sale or some random event, right? Depends on how you're motivated. I get motivated by sales. I get motivated by the food court. But there's certain things where people, you go out to these places because you want to be surprised or delighted with something. And being able to do that for your community
Hmm.
is super important, right? And just being able to keep them excited and keep them engaged, and keep them, into the engaged in the process as much as possible.
Yes, of course. And in addition to that, people may buy our products as for gifts, but people like that moment when you receive a gift and it makes you feel happy. People are buying emotions. They want things to make them feel good. They
Right.
want things to make them happy. And that's what we try to offer every time that we send something out to our customers, whether it's something that they purchase or even on even our annual back to school bow tie giveaway. We use any of the remaining made ups or remnants from our fabric and create small bow ties for kids. And so we have this back to school bow tie giveaway. So everyone wins, everyone feels great, everyone's happy. So we're just trying to create a community where everyone enjoys the gifts that we provide. They understand our business mantra, they understand what we're trying to provide to the community, and we hope that they always come back.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And so you've been open how many years now?
8 years, 8 years this March.
8. And so do you feel solid yet, or are you still growing?
We're still growing. The market is constantly changing. 2020 was a huge shift for us. 2020 was the first year we offered products for women. It was just based on a
Mhm.
need. People were reaching out via social media, via email. Hey, can you offer this? Can you offer that? Can you offer that? The good thing about being a business owner as well as a designer is that you can shift gears instantly.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah, because you have your
corporations.
designs right there. You don't have to worry about sourcing it.
Exactly, exactly. That was the first year that we offered products to women, but we're constantly growing and learning. So we will have more products, more new products that we're going to be offering later on this year that we're very excited about.
That's awesome. And tell us how everybody can get in touch with you on what's your website is
Yes,
sonson.com.
correct. Sonson at sonson.com, son at son.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It's brilliant. So thank you for all those insights. What a great presentation.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And